Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 4th. We're here this morning for the Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kristen Stevens. I'm the Chair Pro Tem, and I am here, Chair Pro Tem, that sounds right. I am running the meeting because our chair is away for a few weeks, taking some much-needed rest, and with me on the dais is my fellow commissioner, Jody Shattuck McNally. We also have, at this end of the room, we have our county manager, Lorinda Volker. We have Lindsay Jones from the clerk's office, Tom Clayton, and Sarah Kane from our county commissioner's office. So welcome, everyone, and we'll get started with our meeting. We generally begin with public comment. We have a couple people signed up, so we'll start with those folks, and then we'll go to the room and see if anybody else wants to provide public comment. So we will start this morning with Sean Doherty? No? Oh, I guess Van Doherty. Okay, sorry.
Same last name, different first name.
Okay, all right, perfect then. Welcome, Van. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Perfect. Good morning, County Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Van Doherty, and today I'm here with Vape Colorado. We're a small business here in Fort Collins, one of over a dozen vape shops in Fort Collins and one of over 40 in Larimer County alone. One of the products that my shop, along with every other shop, convenience store, gas station, sells in Colorado are disposable vapes. Well, disposables are single-use devices with the ease of not needing to maintain, refill, nothing like that. You use it, when you're done, you just discard it. That's it, and it because of that, it has increased their popularity. I'm here today to talk about the current lack of a proper way to dispose and recycle of these devices here in Larimer County. At the moment, Larimer County Recycling Centers state that they will accept these disposable vapes for free from residents and for a cost to businesses. With this knowledge, I began accepting vapes from all of my customers who are Larimer County residents, and it did help decrease the amount that were improperly getting thrown into the trash. But when I approached the 3 major Larimer County recycling centers, I was turned away. It was either because, well, we don't accept these devices in person, actually, or we have to fully deconstruct them down to the battery exclusively, wrap it in electrical tape, and then drop it back off. With the lithium-ion batteries inside of the devices, I understand the electrical tape aspect for safety, but with them inside of the devices, they are actually proven to be safer because they're in a plastic shell. There's no way that a battery can touch another battery, versus electrical tape, you have a chance for anything to malfunction. And I'm here today to ask you to explore the idea of starting a vape recycling program for Larimer County for the full device. 5 vapes are thrown away in the trash every second, according to the CDC. 5 vapes every second in the United States. And these lithium-ion batteries are causing landfill fires all over the place. In Larimer County specifically, it's 3 to 5 landfill fires every month, not including the amount of fires caused with the county garbage vehicles when they compact these devices unknowingly. I recently reached out to Boulder County and spoke with a member of their recycling staff because they have a program set up about this to fully recycle disposable vapes. And right now, they are able to deconstruct them fully on site and recycle each piece respectively. When you're deconstructing them, it really comes down to 4 different elements. You have plastic, you have rubber, you have your wiring and your electronic chips, and you have your battery. And all of those aspects can be recycled in different ways through the county. We just need a program to actually take them apart at the county facilities for our residents, especially if we're stating that we accept them for free. The fact of the matter is that these devices aren't going away anytime soon, and they're only going to continue to increase in popularity. And so I'm here today to ask if we can explore the idea of a more comprehensive recycling program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Van. I have John Case next on the list, but John, you might want to speak when we talk about the Pride item. Would that be right? We'll give people an opportunity to speak later. Does that sound right? Okay, okay. Well, you can speak later if you'd like to. So we will go to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak? You'd have 3 minutes. Did you want? Please come up. And then state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Name is Charlie Masurlian, and I live here in Larimer County. I didn't see the sign-up sheet, but anyways, I came to talk about this property tax deal. From 22 to 23, you went from roughly 705 million to 855 million. It's about a 22% increase. Inflation was 5%, 6% range. And you got an extra 150 million thereabouts. And now you want to give us some gift that you want to temporarily lower the mill levy to come down 5.5 million roughly. And, it's pretty much a slap in the face when you come up with that. And people aren't going to take it. There's a lot of people who live in paycheck to paycheck. Their property taxes are through the roof. I got commercial warehouse space that people can't pay the extra on the triple net lease, and they can't pay the extra increase, the extra bump. They're right up against the limit. I mean, the consequences are going to be, there's going to be some serious consequences to all this. And to be upfront with you, I'm pretty disappointed and disgusted that from Paulus comes up with his little tricks to pretend he's going to do everybody a favor. It's not any favors. You people come up with a $5 million deal, and it's pretty much a slap in the face the way I see it. So I suggest that you do something, get serious about it, or there's going to be some major repercussions in my mind. So anyways.
Thanks, Charlie. Is there anyone else in the audience who wanted to speak for 3 minutes? Okay, I don't see any hands. Sarah, was there anyone online who wanted to, that we need to call in? No? Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for everyone who spoke this morning. For public comment, we will close public comment, and I'll ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally if she'd like to respond.
Thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem. First, to Mr. Doherty, thank you for bringing up this issue. We weren't aware of this. It's certainly interesting to learn that there's 5 vape disposable, you said, recyclable. Is it the term disposable or recyclable, thrown away every second? And certainly we can approach our solid waste director and see what kind of things we can do. Certainly the hazard of the ion batteries and things is a hazard. We certainly have a battery kind of program to try to keep batteries out of the landfill. So thank you for coming today and speaking and bringing this to our attention. And certainly we will look into it. And we have your information on the list. We can probably have someone from solid waste, I would assume, get back to you. But thank you for bringing this to our attention. And then certainly appreciate your efforts too, as a resident, to do what you can to help keep those out of the landfill. I really appreciate that, the thoughtfulness of that. And then to Charlie, Charlie, I know, we keep speaking about this 2022. It's by state statute. That's the highest property values that were in the state. All the property values, we have not changed the mill levy value. The mills have stayed the same since 1992. And we are not selling eggs here. We have services, and we've talked about this. We have all this on the website, and we did give back a mill levy credit to our residents, a historic mill levy credit. So we have talked about these things. I understand you're frustrated. We're all frustrated with property values going through the roof and housing values going up, and that's all I'll say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, to Van, I would just say the same thing. Thank you for bringing this forward, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. It'll be interesting for us to talk to Boulder and see how they do that, because it does sound like something that, just on first, reflection, that would be kind of difficult, like, taking apart all these vape situations. So I'm curious to see how they do that sort of in an efficient way. So that would be great. But yeah, we'll touch base with Boulder and with our solid waste folks and see what we can do. You're absolutely right. And I thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention, is that batteries do not go in the landfill. Lithium batteries do cause fires in the landfill, which can be really dangerous, not only for the people who work at the landfill, but for air quality and such. So we have a special battery recycling program, and we hope people adhere to that and remember that because we want to keep people safe. So we will look into that. And then as far as Charlie, thank you, Charlie. You know, I do understand that people are struggling with property tax, and I just want to remind folks that that Senate Bill 24-233 puts a cap on property tax, and so that is a solution. It puts a pretty significant cap on property tax. We didn't get hundreds of millions of dollars extra because of other things. And one of the things is not all your property tax goes to the county. Only about 25% of your property tax goes to the county. A lot goes to the school districts. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I understand your frustration. And I think that there is help coming with some of these, the bills, especially Senate Bill 24-233 will provide some relief for taxpayers.
We'll see how that works.
Okay. All right, well, we will see how it works, and then, we have the ability to correct. So we have the ability to go back to the legislature, and we have the ability to do some work. We want, yeah, and so we did lower taxes. We did give some taxes back. We do have escalating costs, as Commissioner Shattuck McNally was talking about. Providing food and medical care in the jail doubled. And so while inflation may only have gone up 5 to 8%, our costs with regard to taking care of roads and other things have gone up much higher than the rate of inflation. The construction index cost is a lot higher than what the regular inflation rate is. So I'm not here to argue with you, because I think your point is that people are struggling with their property tax, and I hear that, and we will look for measures to.
You guys can do something solid on it.
Thank you. All right. Well, we will close that public comment on public comment, and we will move to our next agenda item. I did check online. Yep, I asked Sarah, and she said no one was online or on the phone. All right, so we will go to our next agenda item. That's approval of the minutes, and I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make a motion for this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry, I was so excited about what things on our agenda today. I move to approve the minutes for the week of May 20th, 2024.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0, and we will go to Sarah for our upcoming schedule review.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for June 10th through the 14th, 2024. On Monday, June 10th, from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the hearing room on the first floor. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, June 11th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce event, How Business Can Play a Role in Solving the Child Care Crisis in Larimer County at 225 South Meldrum Street in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual South Platte Basin Roundtable meeting. On Wednesday, June 12th, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Energy, Environment, and Land Use meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Lori Hodges, Director of the Office of Emergency Management, in the hearing room on the first floor. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., there will be a Commissioner Planning Commission work session in the hearing room on the first floor. On Thursday, June 13th, from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board meeting at the Innisphere Ventures at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Finance Committee meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Office on Aging Advisory Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it'll be at 1501 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 2:45 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens and Shattuck McNally will attend the Teen Activity Center at the 212 Anniversary Celebration at 212 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins. On Friday, June 14th, from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Forest Health Council Committee meeting.
Thank you, Sarah. That's everything? Yes. Okay. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, do you have any corrections or additions?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Madam Chair Pro Tem. Sarah, I just want to make sure, just so that it's publicized and people know that we're doing our, on the 13th, we'll be up in the Tahosa Valley for our yearly annual community conversation with the Tahosa Valley and surrounding areas. And that starts at 5:30. 5:30 to 7, and that will be at the 111 Salvation Lane, and it's, the address is in Estes Park, but this is not in Estes Park. It's at the, I think, the Salvation Army Center, but it's 111 Salvation Lane, so.
Thank you.
And actually, I'm sorry, it's not 5:30, it's 5 o'clock. It's at the High Peak Camp, that's the address, High Peak Camp, which is off St. Vrain Valley Avenue or Highway 7, and then you turn on and go back to the camp, so, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would just add, Sarah, that I have a tour of Rawhide Energy Station on Friday, June 14th, from 1 to 3.
And then, if I might, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Commissioner, go ahead.
And then, Sarah, on Saturday, the 15th, I'm participating in the Loveland Pride events, and there's also one at the, is that the one at the ranch too, on those days? All of those days, so let's see if I can get those. There's one at the ranch, we'll talk about those times. What time is it again? From? 11 to 5. Yeah. And then there's some, the Rainbow Collective activities that are the rest of the day. There's a 11 to 12, there is a march downtown, and then there's from 12 to 12:30, I'm volunteering, and then I'll be at the ranch activities over there too, so. And they're gonna, and so.
Loveland Pride is the 15th at NOCO at the ranch. Loveland Pride is in downtown Loveland.
Okay, downtown Loveland, yep. So I'll get those on, I just haven't got all the details, thank you.
Thanks.
I may be attending some of those events too. I'll have to look at my calendar, but I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Anything further, Commissioner, before we move on?
I don't think so. I still don't know what happened to May, Commissioner. It's still kind of a blur, so.
Sure, I understand. All right, so we will move on to not necessarily the most exciting item on the agenda, but nevertheless, it's the consent agenda. These are business items that we will be voting on this morning. So the first item on the consent agenda is abatements. We have 21 petitions for abatement or refund of taxes, so there is a way to get relief from taxes if you feel you were unfairly taxed, and that is through this process, 21 abatements on this consent agenda. Next, we have agreements. The first agreement is an amended and restated 2024 municipal enforcement agreement by and between Larimer County and the town of Timnath. This contract encourages working with the town administrator, town mayor, and town board. That gives us Sheriff's Office law enforcement authority in the town of Timnath. And the total dollar amount is $75,000 plus dollars. The next agreement is a professional services agreement for on-call debris removal and hauling services with Ceres, and the total dollar amount is unknown. It will be what is needed through the term of the agreement. The next agreement item is professional services agreement, again for debris removal and hauling services, DRC, and that total dollar amount is also unknown. We have a contract amendment number 3. This is for fiscal year 2025 and extension and updates to grant funding for substance abuse and mental health treatment in the Larimer County Jail, $811,000 approximately. We have an intergovernmental agreement for funding of wayfinding signage along the Poudre River Trail between I-25 and Island Grove Park in Greeley. This is exciting because we are beginning to open up that trail. Windsor, Timnath, Greeley, and Larimer County partnered in a grant application to Colorado Department of Transportation to fund these wayfinding signs along the Poudre River east of I-25. The grant was awarded. The total dollar amount was $108,500. The Larimer County portion is around $800. The next item is Core Services contract between Larimer County Department of Human Services and Maple Star, Colorado. The purpose of this contract is to set forth terms and conditions by which the contractor shall provide family time core services. And this is for resources and support for families when children are at imminent risk of out-of-home placement or in need of services to maintain the least restrictive setting. The total dollar amount of this is $500,000. The contract term is through May 31st, 2026. We have some appointments to our boards and commissions next. On the agenda, we have a recommended midterm appointment to the Open Lands Advisory Board for Debbie Hayhow and Jim Wers. And their terms will run through June 30th, 2026. We have a recommended appointment to the Open Lands Advisory Board for Wes Knoll, and that term will end in June 30th, 2027. We have 5 liquor licenses. We have a liquor license renewal for Fort Fun. We have one for a renewal for Whitaker Oil doing business as a Loveland Country Store. We have a renewal for Legacy LLC doing business as Masonville Mercantile, a renewal for Vern's Place, and a transfer of ownership for the Horsetooth Gas and Liquor LLC. So under miscellaneous, we have a lot of stipulations to tax year 2023. We have, let's see how many of those. We have 12 of those for 2023 value. Our 13th item on the agenda, on this agenda, is the retail marijuana store and cultivation licenses. So we waive renewal hearings for the Choice Organics Retail Marijuana Store license and the Flower Power Botanicals license, and they will get those licenses. We have a transportation capital expansion fee increase. We have discussed this at work sessions. There will be a 10% increase that will be effective on July 1st, 2024 for all transportation capital expansion fees. This is an example that costs are going up significantly, much higher than inflation costs for things like road repairs and road work. And so we are trying to recoup those costs as we maintain a balanced budget. Number 15 is use of unanticipated oil and gas revenues for 2024. Assessed values for oil and gas were higher than anticipated. We were asked for potential projects that would benefit from one-time funding for this. And so we conducted a work session on March 20th, 2024 to discuss these potential projects. So this memorandum will formalize those projects, which include air quality projects and projects for affordable housing. We have a solid waste assurance letter next. This is a letter to the Colorado Department of Health that shows the county's estimated landfill closure liability and remaining capacity in the landfill. As folks know, we are looking to move into a new landfill because the old landfill is getting full. So this is information that's also displayed in the county's annual comprehensive financial report. And we will be adhering to all the regulations that go with the closing of a landfill. And then finally, under this topic, we have the Wagner-Pizer Merit System certification. Larimer County certifies that it has a merit system of personnel administration for its employees who deliver the Wagner-Pizer Act-funded employment services. So this is in our workforce center. The county further certifies that its personnel and merit system is in compliance with federal standards. We have several resolutions, just two actually. Two resolutions, one ordering a public hearing to consider petitions for Fox Ridge Estates Public Improvement District, and we will be considering that public improvement district for District Number 79. And then also a resolution ordering a public hearing to consider petitions for the Tanager Public Improvement District Number 72. So for those folks who don't know, public improvement districts are ways that local residents can do improvements on their roads. They create their own taxing entity, so they're able to take care of road repairs if they live outside a city boundary. So that is it for the consent agenda. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, is there anything you'd like to remove from this agenda? Okay, I do not wish to remove anything either. Then I will ask you to make the motion for this item.
Certainly, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I move to approve the consent agenda for June 4th, 2024.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. All right, so we will move on to what feels like very much more of an exciting agenda item than the consent agenda, which can be a little dry. But we are now here for our first discussion item, and that is a proclamation declaring June 2024 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And I'll just read a short description, and then we'll ask folks in the audience if they want to come and speak on this item. But we are very proud to be proclaiming this. We have done this, I believe, since we took office a few years ago. It had not been done in the past, and we're very glad to be celebrating Pride Month with everyone who's here and everyone out in Larimer County. So I'll just read the short description, and then we'll ask folks to come up and talk about what this means to you. So this is celebrating the hard-fought victories of the LGBTQ plus community and acknowledging that more work needs to be done in order to achieve full equality, inclusion, representation, and acceptance. And actually, I might have Commissioner Shattuck McNally read the proclamation first, and then we can move on to people talking, and then we'll go to the motion.
Madam Chair, did you want me to read the proclamation and then make a motion, then we have discussion?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, thank you. I'm very proud to read this proclamation. Our first one was in June of 2021. And we're very proud as a board to bring this for the first time and every year since the first Pride proclamation for Larimer County. So this is a proclamation for the LGBTQIA plus Pride Month, June 2024. Whereas the celebration of Pride Month originates from June 28, 1969, police raid on the Stonewall Inn in New York City and the subsequent 5 days of spontaneous protests and confrontation by the LGBTQ plus community. And whereas this series of events sparked a nationwide movement that continues to inspire us to strive for our nation's promise of equality, inclusion, acceptance, and justice for everyone, without discrimination or harassment, and with recognition of the strength gained from diversity. And whereas 46 years later, on June 26, 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled for marriage equality with the same gender couples having the same and equal rights to marriage and its benefits, commitments, and dignity. And whereas all members of Larimer County all members of the Larimer County community who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning, intersex, and asexual all deserve to be welcomed, to be safe, and to live in our community without the threat of marginalization, erasure, exclusion, discrimination, or harassment. And whereas local governments are uniquely positioned to improve quality of life, sense of community and belonging, and equitable access for all. And whereas Larimer County supports its LGBTQ plus community and focuses on creating and supporting an inclusive and equitable community that honors diversity and promotes unity. And whereas we invite out community to celebrate the hard-fought gains of the LGBTQ plus community towards equality, inclusion, representation, acceptance in our county and our nation. while also acknowledging that more remains to be done for each of these goals that are shared by all of us. And whereas the Larimer County Commissioners would like to express to the LGBTQ+ community, we value you, we recognize you, and we celebrate your worth and contributions. We will continue to support and work with you and your community and encourage you to always feel proud of who you are. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, do hereby proclaim June 2024 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in Larimer County, dated this 4th day of June 2024, the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve the proclamation declaring June 2024 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we'll take some comments on that. Should we start with the audience, and then we'll come back to the commissioners? So I would ask Laura McWaters to come up. Laura serves admirably on our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Board, and Laura can make a few comments about the board and some of the work that we're doing to be more inclusive in our community, and then we'll invite others to come up as well. So, Laura, if you don't mind.
Hello. As stated, my name is Laura McWaters, and I'm a member of the Larimer County Commissioners Advisory Board for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And as a member, I am so glad to be here and so glad to hear those words that we all struggled to write and rewrite for that proclamation. I can tell you that all the board members thought long and hard about that and worked on it carefully. And given the ongoing discrimination, harassment, vitriol, assaults, and legislative actions in some places, we feel it's important that the county affirms that everybody belongs in this county, that we all have something to contribute, that we all have value and we all have right to be here and to get along with one another. So I'd like to thank you for that. I don't see a clock running here, but I also want to do it.
You don't have a clock. You're welcome to speak as long as you wish.
Okay. But I did have just a real brief personal comment because I was tailing for 3 minutes here. I'm so happy to be here speaking personally as a member of the LGBTQ community, a member, one of the leaders of the local community, and a member of this board. That it's important that we have these statements, that we have this support. I would ask that somehow this stuff makes it onto the website, and I hope that someday this proclamation or iterations of it and the other proclamations that the county does makes it out of the hearing room. That they make it to public events for the various communities, that these are read on a public stage where more than a few people who can find their way here at this particular time would be at. So that's all. Thank you very much, and I deeply mean it.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. I will say we are broadcasting, so while there are only a handful of people in the room, hopefully people will be watching it on both YouTube and then it'll be broadcasting on Channel 14. So thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to come and speak? John or Kim? Good morning. And again, you're not timed. We're here to celebrate, so thank you.
That's okay. I don't like public speaking, so we're good. Kimberly Chambers, the founder of NoCo Safe Space, the original co-founder of NoCo Pride and NoCo Equality, and the current executive director for Splash Youth of Northern Colorado. And I also wanted to say thank you for doing these pieces on behalf of the county, because it does help when somebody hears that they belong in a space. And so that being said, there is a call to action, because there always is with me, and that is to reiterate that most recently the Colorado Health Institute said that 1 in 10, did their annual survey, 1 in 10 adults, young adults under 30, are LGBTQIA. I'm sorry, that's 1 in 5, and then 1 in 10 for ages 30 to 50, 5% of our 50 plus demographic. And then the Colorado Healthy Kids Survey reported 47% of Larimer County youth self-identifying on the forms as LGBTQIA. All of that being said, Larimer County is putting little to no dollars towards the LGBTQIA community here. And so our community organizations, we continually need funding around behavioral health, around public health care, those kinds of pieces. And so that would be my ask in return, is let's put some action behind these proclamations. This is the 10th year that I've been doing work throughout Larimer County, and my 2 other accomplices over there, we've been doing this for 10 years, and we've seen huge changes. What we want to see now is, as more and more people are realizing who they genuinely are, we have to support them. And so part of that does come with behavioral health services and things like that, going directly into the community, not just through county programs. So thank you for your time, and thank you for doing this again.
Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else who wants to speak this morning? I'll turn it over to Commissioner Shattuck McNally. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem, and it's really a source of pride and meaningful kind of my heart to be able to read this proclamation today. So first want to thank Kimberly and Laura and John for all being here today. Appreciate you guys being here in person and the work that you do, because you guys have, I think you stated it well, Kimberly, you guys have been working on this area and trying to be a voice for the community for 10 years. And things have progressed, but there's still work to be done. There's still a lot to be accomplished, and this is in our strategic plan to make social connections and a sense of belonging throughout the entire county. And I think, one area that I'm focused on is outside of Fort Collins. It's a wonderful community, but out in the unincorporated areas into every corner, and making sure those places feel safe for those youth as well, and older adults. And I think it's on a good trajectory, but there's a lot to move forward. We've started as a board of county commissioners. We've supported groups like Heart and Soul and some other groups with some funding, and also our behavioral health and our opiate abatement using like the Yarrow Collective and some of those to provide funding for peer-to-peer support and some of those outreaches. And I think in some of those spaces, it's progress, but I agree, there's more work to be done. Very excited that we have a proclamation and that we have events. We had events this last weekend. We have events through the whole month. And I appreciate all of you making sure that we are aware of those events, because there's a lot happening. And so we're very grateful for the partnership. And thank you, Laura, for serving on our EDI board. Very important, and important that we have that advisory committee giving us insights and perspectives. Very valued, and we really respect your perspective. So thank you so much for your service. And I just want to say, part of that proclamation, I really want to just focus back on one of these things, because this is a part that I actually helped write a few years ago, that we just wanted to say to the LGBTQ plus community that we value you. I want to restate that. We value you. We respect you. We recognize you. We see you. And we celebrate your worth, because you are important contributing members of this community. And when we talk about belonging, that means everyone. And we want everyone to feel that way. And we will continue to support and work with you in the community. And I guess for me as a mom, I'm wearing my mom a little button here, I want everyone to feel proud of who they are. We had a situation yesterday where we were hearing from some folks who maybe didn't always make the best choices in life and are paying the consequences for that. And one thing they talked about was their moms or people in the community who did not believe in them, that were there for them and said, "You matter, I care. It's going to be okay. I'll be here for you." And I think that's important for everyone in this community to have that sense of feeling and belonging. And I think for everyone, especially for our LGBTQ plus community, owning your story and telling your story and sharing your story and loving yourself throughout that entire story takes courage and takes strength and going through that process. And hopefully you're surrounded by love. And I'm hoping that we're helping provide some of that love and acceptance. But that's one of the loving yourself and going through that process and owning who you are and and being proud of loving who you are and loving who you love. That's one of the bravest things that anyone will ever do. And I hope that you hear that. And I wish you all to be brave. And I wish us all to be accepting and give that sense of belonging and safety throughout our community. And so that's the message I hope today is that we just celebrate and amplify and support anyone in this community who wishes to celebrate this month. And thank you all for being here today. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Laura and Kimberly, and John, who's in the background, who didn't want to speak too. I really appreciate your leadership in this space. This is a great month of celebration, and it's also sort of a time to think about, past trauma that's happened, and also, how we can do better going forward. And so while it's celebration, it's also kind of looking back to say, wow, things were really bad and discriminatory in the past, and violent and ugly, and how do we move forward as a community and a country and make things better? I think about the marriage equality decision from the Supreme Court in 2015, and I ran for office in 2015 for city council, and that was actually a question that I was asked. Did I support marriage equality? And I was like, most definitely, I do support marriage equality. I almost can't believe that I'm being asked this, and in retrospect, seems almost ridiculous that was something that someone actually might say no to in Fort Collins, in our community. But it is wonderful to, like I said, to be celebrating, and also I appreciate the words that you of how we can do better as a county. So let's look at how we can bring this more out into the community. Laura, you're right. I mean, the hearing room is fine and well, but it's not the whole community, and it's not. So I think we can do better, and let's look at ways that we can, and please help us find ways that we can. I think some of the ways are, like you said, getting it on the website, but really, honestly, if you believe in something, you put your dollars there. And I know that that's how budgets work. And so I think in hearing some of what you said, I know we're doing some of that work in behavioral health. I don't know, maybe we can do better in that space, but we certainly can also talk about this in the Larimer County Board of Health space as well, and see what we can do to make sure that we are supporting people, that we are giving them the health care that they need, that we are addressing those disparities that we see in our community. So I hear you loud and clear, and I appreciate your voice in that space. But yeah, thank you. We do want to say that you're welcome here, and to the people listening, and that we want to create an inclusive community, that we care about you, that you're part of our community. And I'm happy to be here to celebrate, but also acknowledge the past. So I will ask our county manager if she would like to give a few words, and then, as per usual, we will do a photo op.
I will keep mine very brief. I just want to thank you all for coming today. Proclamations are a moment in time to celebrate a month that's designated, but every day is an opportunity to eliminate bias and discrimination, and really focus on welcoming everyone into the community and being part of the community. So know that today's a day. It's a big day. We'll take a picture and sign a proclamation, but this board truly believes that every day is a day to eliminate bias and discrimination. So again, thank you for taking the time. I know you work and can do other things today, and we appreciate that you're here. And I hope that the vast listening audience will appreciate that as well, and take a clip from this.
Thank you. And thank you for your work. I guess I maybe didn't acknowledge that enough, but Laura, the work that the EDI board did on this proclamation, we appreciate that, and the work that you all do on top of your day jobs to make sure that people feel welcomed in our community and understand the needs of the LGBTQ plus community. So Commissioner Shattuck McNally reminded we have a motion on the table, so before we take a photo, we do need to act on that motion. So all in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0, and now we will break for a photo op. Thank you. All right, well, we are back, and we are on to our next agenda item, and our discussion item, and that is a grant agreement regarding the American Rescue Plan Collaborative Projects Grant Subaward to Fort Collins Habitat for Humanity. So also a good news item on our agenda. And we will bring up Aaliyah Rodriguez, and she will talk about this agenda item. Welcome, Aaliyah.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. As stated, my name's Aaliyah Rodriguez. I'm the Housing Stability Program Manager here. I'm very excited to bring this project forward this morning. This grant contract utilizes American Rescue Plan Act funds, also known as ARPA funds. As a reminder to the board and the public, Larimer County was awarded around $69 million in ARPA funds. The purpose of these funds were to assist the community in coming back and assisting the community for the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. After implementing over $3 million in immediate needs directly out to community service providers with these ARPA dollars, the remainder was put aside for really truly transformational projects that we had in our community. In partnership, Larimer County, in partnership with Bohemian Foundation and other stakeholders in our community, came together to really recognize gaps and where these funds could be used appropriately and where these funds could have the biggest impact. So today's grant agreement is to finalize a contribution of $1 million in ARPA funds to Fort Collins Habitat for Humanity. The funds will be used to purchase 9 lots, which will be future permanently affordable homeownership opportunities that will be built by our local Poudre High School students. The project aligns with one of the largest affordable housing gaps that was identified in our 2021 Housing Needs Assessment, which was affordable homeownership opportunities. This will bring 9 new permanently affordable homeownership opportunities to our community, which is very exciting. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Kristen Candela. She is the Executive Director of Fort Collins Habitat for Humanity, and she will talk a little further to the project and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Leah. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say we're so happy to be on the tail end of you reading the proclamation on Pride Month. Thank you very much. It makes me really grateful to be here after hearing about the good work that the community is doing to make more people feel welcome and included. Habitat for Humanity believes everyone deserves a safe place to call home. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope, and public-private partnership makes that possible. It is really important to me to say thank you to our Larimer County Commissioners for prioritizing housing, homeownership, inclusivity. We are so happy to have been a partner, the only partner of Poudre High School for 9 years for Poudre Builds. 9 years ago, we didn't know, is this a good idea to have 100 high school students building a Habitat home in the parking lot of the school? Who knew? And now, after those 9 years, we've seen 1,000 students build homes in the parking lot of the school, learning skills, having a pathway to a possible career in construction or the trades, going on to become engineers or architects. We've seen students say things like, I didn't know I could have an impact on someone else's life. This has positively helped my mental health. Now I think I can go into a career with my dad in his construction company. I didn't know I had these skills. It's had so many ripple effects, and the impact of what the county is doing by giving $1 million to help us buy land is it creates a runway for this program. It's great to build houses, but land is scarce. We are deeply impacted by being able to have 9 lots that will double the impact of the program. 1,000 students have gone through it already, and 1,000 more students will be able to go through it thanks to this contribution. This not only provides the students the chance to learn and have all this opportunity, but 9 homeowners will have an affordable mortgage. They will build and buy their home with those students. And then that mortgage payment they pay back to Habitat for Humanity will be recycled to build more and more homes, and they'll also be permanently affordable. So this is a very deep impact, and thinking of coming really in the midst of the beginning of Pride Month, it relates to this program in many ways. If you don't know the motto of Poudre High School, it's Ubuntu. You see it all around their walls. And I think it's always aligned with Habitat for Humanity. It's essentially an African phrase that means, I am because we are. This collaborative project at Hartside Hill is students, it's the church, it's the county, it's the state, it's the city. It is multiple partners, Care Housing, L'Arche, Habitat for Humanity, and childhood education, early childhood education. This is Ubuntu, if I've ever heard of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristen. Any questions for Kristen, or?
Do you want to do questions and comments, or what do you want to do, Madam Chair?
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask them now.
Okay, and then comments too, or?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Kristen, for being here, and so excited, and thank you for inviting us to come out and see one of those home celebrations for the homeowners. And as you know, I've been volunteering for Habitat in Loveland and hoping to soon catch on to what you're doing here. And I've done everything from landscaping out in the heat and hauling rocks to painting to, all kinds of things. And it's really a powerful an opportunity. And I brought my daughter in high school along, and especially the women build. It's just a really powerful time, and to meet the homeowners and who have to volunteer their time to help with other homes. It's just really a powerful experience. And I know the geometry and construction started in Loveland, and I know sometimes it hasn't expanded as much there, but I'm so proud and thrilled how it's taken root and expanded over these last 9 years in Poudre School District, and what a great program to show students how relevant math is as well, and geometry, and how the things they learn are actually applicable into real life situations. And then the gift and the ripples that you have, if you stated, these folks realizing the deep impact they have, having a safe home, a place to live is, and it's permanently affordable, is something that I don't think is measurable to how this will have an ongoing impact for all these folks. And you have seen it through all these years through Habitat for Humanity, but I think most members of the public don't realize how this really changes lives in so many ways. And I appreciate you focusing on how important it's the land. You can build homes, but first you need the land. And it's really hard, it can be really hard, I think, going forward, as this is a fast growing community, to find affordable land. And that's really I think, central to achieving adequate housing, is that it has to have land and tenure and affordability and location, which is the land. And so access to land is the first thing I think important for, and water, of course, and all these other things, but really having the right location that are well located, and they have access to services or public transportation, and that all contributes to the availability of affordable housing and attainable housing. And I know you know that, but I just think sometimes we forget, we just show up and it's on at their building, but it's really that foundation of the land, of how that's important going forward. So we're very proud to help secure these lots and this land for a very wonderful and beautiful project at Hartside Hill. And it's even more beautiful by knowing that we have youth involved. We're impacting a generation who hopefully will be giving back, or have that sense of belonging and valued because they're giving back, and that they feel like what they're doing matters. There's just so many win-wins out of this whole situation. I really want to thank you for the partnership and the work, the amazing, wonderful work that Habitat for Humanity does for our communities for decades. And just really proud and very, very grateful to be a part of this, and appreciate you being here today. And I'll be looking for opportunities to get time off to come volunteer. But thank you so much, and it's been really a pleasure to get to know you better, and just appreciate you being here today. And thank you to Aaliyah and to our programming there, just to help us find ways that we want to solve housing. So the one question I have is, with funding being stretched in lots of different areas, does this program get funding from outside the school district? I know the school district, funds some of these teachers and things, but does this program also need some, does it get outside support from outside the school district to help keep it rolling? That's my question. Sorry. We have all of that to get to that one question, because I'm always concerned. These are great programs, but with programs comes funding, and having the right people in place and keeping them there. So I'm curious about that.
Oh, thank you. The most expensive part of the program are the construction materials for the homes. And I think it's one of the most surprising things to people I talk to is how much it costs to build a home for Habitat for Humanity. So for us to build a 1,200 square foot home, it's costing over $350,000. And so the cost to run the program on the school side is the teachers, and that part is covered. But Habitat for Humanity believes this program is a real-world classroom, that it's a multiplier effect of what we do. And so we're totally invested in bringing together the partners to fund the $350,000 to build the house. So that's the land, that's the fees, that's the bricks and sticks, that's all the subcontractors. Affordable housing is not affordable it's the same quality, it's the same products. And so it has been a beautiful capital stack of a lot of different donors giving to Habitat to make this possible over 9 years. It's been Woodward and Otter Cares and Bohemian, and the list goes on, Group Real Estate. I mean, there are quite a few. The city has given funds to contribute, but every single year we're piecing it together in this kind of Dr. Seuss cat in the hat kind of stack because we really believe in it. So I really appreciate you asking that question. People can support Pooter Builds all the time. And what has been a real act of faith for Habitat is that we actually started 2 homes with Pooter Build, with Pooter High School in this last year for the very first time. So we're about to move 2 homes over to their permanent foundations on the dirt here in the next month.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful, and thank you to all those partners that you mentioned, because I love that analogy or that visual of the cat in a hat stacking everything on top. It does take a community and all these partners to get these things done. It's takes a village and a community. So thank you, and thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem, for that time.
Yeah, thank you. Kristen, one of the questions that I have before I get to some comments is, are people able to build equity? How does it work for the people who live there? Do they often move on to another place? Are they able to build equity? Can you explain the process just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We moved to a 90-year deed restriction in the last couple of years. And so there is a shared appreciation model, which allows us to restrict those homes for 90 years, but to make sure that not only the community benefits, so we think of each home as part of an infrastructure for the community, but that the homeowner benefits. And so there's a fixed appreciation schedule that our home buyers get. And many of our home buyers do move on and, get a bigger home. We're going to be building condos with Hartford Homes. And so that may not be the forever home that someone dreams of if they have a dog and 3 kids and you want a little bit of space, things like that. So the appreciation piece of it is key. I think some people are shocked to find out how inequitable it is between renters and owners. A study has shown that homeowners have an average savings of $260,000, while renters have an average savings of about $6,500. So there's a big disparity, and there's a huge generational and racial wealth gap that exists if people don't have access to homeownership. And in our community, homeownership rates have been cut in half in the last 5 years. And that is just due to the cost escalation. And so this is really important for us that people get some equity and can really use that to build their life on. They can invest in their kids' education. They can, get different jobs. When you have stability and you also have appreciation, it's a foundation for your life.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that, because I think about that a lot, that generational wealth, and just, the disparities are so large when you're talking about communities of color versus white people, like the average, wealth that a black family has compared to a white family is, those disparities are horrible, and it's because they had been purposely left out of home ownership and with redlining and other bad policies. Horrendous discriminatory policies that we've had in our country. And so this is really an opportunity to help people build wealth, as well as own a home and be in a safe place. And so, the work that you're doing is remarkable. We're happy to contribute to it.
Thank you.
We hear from all our residents. We probably hear about housing almost more than any other issue, maybe behavioral health, So it's so hard to make change in an environment that is, like you said, very expensive, high interest rates. And so we thank you to Aaliyah Rodriguez, who's been a great leader in bringing forward a lot of projects to us that have really helped us, make a dent and make a difference in people's lives in our community. But we know there's a lot of work to be done, and that's why, there's some. There again, that's also why we're happy to have Aaliyah, because we need to figure out how to tackle this once we don't have those dollars. But we're appreciative of those American Rescue Plan dollars, because we have spent a lot of those dollars on housing projects, whether it's a project for Habitat. We've been very involved in the Hartside Hill project. And I agree, that is a model that I hope that other places will emulate, because I think having a faith community involved, having city, state, county partners involved, nonprofits, this is the kind of community you can build. You can build this beloved community in this space. And I think that Hartside Hill really showed the way. Heart of the Rockies Church really was so open to that and had that land and made it happen. And I think that other people can too. And so I love this. I love this model. I love the work that you're doing. I thank you for that work. And then obviously even involving the schools. I mean, there again, they're part of that partnership as well. And so this is how we do this. This is how we do this work, one brick at a time. So I really appreciate your leadership in that way. I'll ask our county manager if she wants to make any comments, and then we'll take a motion on this.
I will, thank you. I want to remind the public that we did receive $69 million in ARPA funds that could have been used in a lot of different ways, but this board decided to use them in transformational ways to address things that were not being addressed, things like housing. This project is a perfect example because not only does it provide housing, it also provides workforce development for those high school students who are learning skills or maybe just volunteering. And so this is a fun one to be able to have in front of us today. Aaliyah, thank you for bringing it. And I'm excited to see what happens with this, both with the students and with the homeowners that come out of this project.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
So we have a motion for this item, and I will ask Commissioner Shannon McNally to make that motion.
Certainly, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I move to approve the grant agreement and American Rescue Plan Collaborative Projects Grant Sub-Award to Fort Collins Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0.
We want to take a quick photo, Madam Chair? We have other projects that have gotten awards that we put on our website, if that would be okay.
If folks are fine with that, yeah, let's go ahead and do that then. Okay. We'll pause for a photo. Well, thank you for indulging us. We will move on to our next agenda item, which is our county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. This will be very brief. You all were at the Colorado Counties Incorporated Conference last week, and so most of what I did was internal coordination. We did have a retreat with our core leadership team where we talked about budget and preparation for that and how we can support departments as we go through that process. I also met with Assessor Bob Overbeck, which is always an interesting meeting about what he's seeing, what his counterparts across the state are seeing. And so those were always great meetings to form good relationships and work together. I think that's really all I have to report this week.
Thank you. Any questions for Lorinda? Thank you, Lorinda.
Thank you.
We will move on to our commissioner activity reports, and we will start with Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I'll just share a few things. It was a very busy week. I believe we were both at on Sunday, the 28th, we had the NOCO Veterans Plaza. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my dates here. At the Veterans Plaza for the official Memorial Day ceremony, and that was very moving, and I appreciate the invitation. I think what's always so moving for me is the soil ceremony where they bring soils from different battles, and they brought some from also the Twin Towers from 9/11 this year. And the ceremony and allowing a youth to follow a veteran or a member of the service community was very moving. And then the field of honor and all the flags flying and the medals it's really an important day. And I feel so honored and blessed to be invited and be a part of that, and to take a moment to honor and acknowledge all those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, and also their families who continue to pay that sacrifice. And so I just appreciate the invitation, and it was a beautiful day. Then we had, last week I left on Monday, on Memorial Day, to get up to for our Colorado County's summer conference in Eagle County. And it was a wonderful conference, and I went through the Water 201 series, and that was very interesting. I want to say Danielle from our water master plan manager came and presented, and she did a great job. I just want to give her a shout out for a wonderful job that she did, and appreciate her representing the county so well. Also met with some of my colleagues. We call ourselves kind of the fire commissioners, and we talk about wildfire mitigation and some of the work that we're trying to accomplish, not only for our counties, but how we can work together countywide. And it was a very fun conference to get together and share ideas and suggestions, and also hear about some of the legislation and how that impacts us. And we know that we had some state leaders come, and the governor and the Senator Hickenlooper, and I came back on Wednesday to be at the Berthoud Park ribbon cutting for the Berthoud Adapted Park project. And the county has given some money from the American Rescue Plan dollars. The city of Berthoud gave $650,000 from their capital improvement project, and I believe we gave $50,000. And it's a very extensive project, and I want to thank out to Miles Bowling and his mom, Laura, and his dad, Richard, and Mac and Braxton, their brothers, and of course Ravioli, his service dog, for allowing us to come and celebrate. They had the groundbreaking. This is right on the county line on southeast corner of Larimer County, kind of about the area that my mom was born and raised, on a farm out there. So it's kind of a nice fruition. One of the other communities members that contributed to this project is actually someone who went to my high school in Longmont, and he has passed on, and his foundation is helping with that project as well. So I got to make that connection and talk about my Longmont high school days. So it was just really a unique opportunity to kind of connect with some of my roots. And the project is online. There's still some more money to raise. If you can go to the Berthoud Adaptive Park Project, there's going to be a lemonade stand coming up. And you can go and find that on Facebook, where you can drive through the community in Berthoud and come and buy some lemonade. Someone's sponsoring the stand. This has been going on for a couple, 2 or 3 years. They've been having these drive-through lemonade stands to the neighborhood, and appreciate the neighbors and the community that support all those people driving through. But there's an opportunity to continue to close that funding gap, and this park will be one of a kind for northern Colorado. Right now, most individuals have to drive 40 minutes to get to a playground where these students have the opportunity to be able to play on a playground where it's inclusive and accessible. And so it's not only about being accessible, about being inclusive of all abilities. And I know Loveland also has broken ground on theirs, which is right next to the Boys and Girls Club. So our community will be really taking a big, huge step forward for that. So that was fun. Then I went from there to the High Plains Environmental Center. Is a very wonderful community gem that's in the middle of Loveland, around kind of the west edge of Centera. And Jim Tolstrup is the executive director, and we're celebrating 20 years of High Plains center, restoring nature in an urban area or suburban area. And so it's really a unique model, nothing like it really across our county, preserving native biodiversity in the midst of development. And it's really, if you haven't been out there, I really encourage you to check it out. They're open to the public. And I've had a few community conversations out there, but Jim had his first book come out, and there was a book signing on the east side of Fort Collins. There's rare bee species that have been found there. There is a rare plant. The opening of this book is from the Boulder or Denver Botanical Gardens, that there was a rare native plant that they haven't seen ever. It's native to the Great Plains, and that it was found on this land. And they also have 10 years out there, they planted this garden. It's no water to it, but it's just one of the most lush areas you'll ever see. It's just shows you how we can have an urban habitat and bring wildlife and safely have, we need to have these wildlife corridors and habitats inside our urban areas. So I just really wanted to share about that, and thank you to Jim Tolstrup for inviting me, and there were a lot of folks there who were very excited to celebrate his book. And so go out to and see the High Plains Environmental Center. It's a really a cool place to see. And then we had the ribbon cutting for the Poudre Valley Hospital ribbon cutting on that evening on LeMay, and it was really a very unique time to be there. There were a lot of folks who have like the Laura Maxey family, the Markley family, and others who have paid to have certain rooms named after them, and it's just a beautiful, I don't even recognize it. Unfortunately, last time I had there, I had a very elderly family member who was in the hospital when we were walking in and out. That's the last time I walked through that lobby, and they had passed, but they were had some major health issues, and I don't even recognize it. It's just a beautiful open space, and the areas there's a meditation room, and there's all these unique amenities for patients and for family members, and just stunning, great job, and it was really fun to be a part of that ribbon cutting. And thank you for the invitation. And Kevin Unger and the board did a fantastic job with the presentation, and it was great to see Sheriff Fay in there, and also Lori, it's not Lori Coulter, it's Mary Coulter, I think, who's our nurse, who's on our workforce development, who's helping find and help our nursing shortage, and she was there, and she had all this information, and I appreciate her being there too, because that's also, we have all these great spaces, but then we need to have the nurses and the community to help kind of the people taking care of people, so that's important to have. Sorry, I'm just thinking about lots of things today. And then it was great. We were, Commissioner Stevens, I'll let her share a little bit more, but it was very exciting to be at the groundbreaking of the I-25 Express Lanes project for Segment 5. Someone who uses that and that bottleneck, it's great to have the bipartisan infrastructure law provide funding for that, and so exciting to be there with our partners and colleagues in Weld County, and it's been a long time coming, years and years of work and money, and this is the last segment, and so that's broke ground, and they've already started moving that right after we left. They were moving barriers and getting that work going. So that was very exciting to see and be a part of that. And then on Friday, it's May's over. I can't believe it. We had our legislative committee meeting for the Forest Health Council, and we, as I said, we have our 2025 recommendations already done. We're working actually with CSU and CSU Extension for possibly a part of one of those private priorities that we're using, and I'm very excited about that. And then we already started working on our 2026 legislative priorities for the Forest Health Council. So lots of work happening in that. Just thought the public like to know is just the legislative session for all of us doesn't really quite end. It's just on to the next cycle. And then I participated in the Pride Parade in downtown for Old Town Fort Collins, and we got to do the parade through Old Town over to the city of Fort Collins for the Pride flag raising. Then that was very exciting. I think that's the first time they've ever raised a flag, and so to be part of that and show that was very, very fun. And then I went to the Boys and Girls Soiree, which is in Fort Collins, and to celebrate Boys and Girls Club and learn more about their national award for behavioral health, their trauma-informed fundamental program is getting funding, and they're done such a great job with this program with behavioral health services and work with students for their mental health issues, that they're now a training area and they've got a national award. And so to celebrate that and to learn more about that was a lot of fun. It was really exciting work. And then we had our common grounds with in Loveland, and I invited the co-responders and Summit Stone Health Partners, and we had great conversation with community members who wanted to learn more and understand about the co-responder program. And I appreciate Sergeant Cook and Cassie D'Amato, and I think it's Jessica who's the clinician, and we had a great time out on the patio and talking, and it was well received, and I appreciate everyone who came. And then I went to Birthday Days, which is in Berthoud, 70 years celebrating Birthday Days this year. Big, huge parade, thousands of people. They started the parade, and then this year we were able to walk from downtown Berthoud, which if you haven't been down there, so classic, small downtown, and the tight streets, tree line, just gorgeous. Lots of people, lots of tractors. And say hi to the bear cat with the sheriff and all of them, the sheriff's posse. And then they walked to the new Wagner Farm Park, which it had dozens of tents and community activities all the way till 9 o'clock. And so I appreciate that was a lot of fun. Then I ran up to the Kindness, Be Kind FOCO event in Fort Collins. One of my friends is on the board there. And she, Ben Dixon's mom, as you know, I'm very heartbroken still. We lost Ben Dixon to his childhood cancer. And so there's just lots of families and activities there to Be Kind FOCO. And they had a proclamation for the city of Fort Collins. And they handed out these little signs that I'll be putting in my yard, even though it says FOCO. I think kindness matters. And so I wanted to share that as well. And that was fun to get up to that. And then yesterday, working with the coroner, Stephen Hanks, and Dr. Gerald Olson, and some of the VA, as we did a suicide fatality review and just looking at some of the data, kind of got lost in those conversations. And I just appreciate the work that we're all doing throughout all the sectors, because it's going to take everybody across the county to work on these issues. And we're looking at data and that work, trying to see what folks can do to get to a goal of zero suicide. That's going to be a challenge, but it's always the goal is to eliminate suicide, especially amongst our veterans. So that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just be brief since I know we have legal matters. We did attend the Memorial Day ceremony at Veterans Plaza. I wanted to thank Lee Cooper from our Veteran Services Office, who was there with a booth. He was actively talking to veterans about the needs that they have and the resources that they can access, and so was fun to see him at work, and I thank him for his work. I also attended the CCI conference. In particular, attended some program on funding for children and youth services, which is always a challenge to fund some of the human services and child protection things that we do in the county. And so really kind of looking at a model going forward of how to distribute those dollars throughout the state. Also had programs on middle income housing and property tax initiatives, and some really good programs. The governor and Senator Hickenlooper were there, and so that was great to talk to them. The groundbreaking for segment 5 was pretty epic for me, because I've been working on that for over 5 years. A lot of people have been working on that for a decade. So really that's the segment from Berthoud to Meade that everybody's familiar with if you've driven down to Denver and you all of a sudden bottleneck. So that will be fixed, but it will take 4 years. But we are grateful for the bipartisan infrastructure law dollars to be able to achieve that project and have the 3 lanes all the way to Longmont and beyond. So that was a culmination of a lot of work for me, and it was really fun to be able to see that groundbreaking. And then, as Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, we attended the raising of the Pride flag at City Hall, and that was really a great way to kick off Pride Week. So that is it for me. We will move on to our legal matters. We have 2 legal matters, and I'm not sure the best way to do that, so I'm kind of going to look for guidance to folks, because we have one where no decision is expected, and one where a decision is expected. And so shall we do both motions? Shall we start with one and then come back and do the second one? I'm open to any of, does David, you want to?
Morning, David Ayer, Deputy County Attorney. For this particular one, you could do both motions at once. The first one, my understanding, is for negotiation issues, so you'll have to record it still. Depending on what's best for the clerk's office, it might be easier to do the one that's recorded first so they can come stop it, and then we can go into legal matters.
If there's a decision expected, we'll have to come back on the air anyway. So maybe, I wonder if we should do that one first.
Okay, we can do that.
We do them in reverse order. I know we have some folks in the audience, but I don't think that the one where the decision is expected is going to be very long.
That works.
Okay. So, so we'll do that motion first. We'll come back and have that decision, and then we'll go back into executive session for the other item. Okay. So I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make the second motion first.
Certainly, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I move that the Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B, conferences with an attorney for the purposes of receiving legal advice regarding estate of Ryan Wayne Harmon et al. Versus Board of County Commissioners for the County of Larimer et al.
Thank you for the motion. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so this board is moving into executive session. Thank you for everyone who came to participate today, and we will be back with a decision and a further motion. Good morning, everyone. We are back. We have a decision from the executive session that we just have, and we'll have David Ayrard, one of our county attorneys, explain what we'll be voting on this morning.
Thank you. David Aero, Deputy County Attorney. We just came out of executive session to discuss a jail suicide lawsuit that's been filed. We went over the details and then the legal analysis pertaining to that. And so we were asking the board if they would support indemnification and defense of the county employees involved.
Thank you, David. Any questions before we go on? All right, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, would you make the motion for this item, please?
Certainly, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I move that the Board of County Commissioners authorize the county attorney to defend the Board of County Commissioners, John Fain, in his official capacity as Larimer County Sheriff, and Kyle Deenan individually in his individual capacity, and other county employees as the complaint is amended, and provide full indemnity to them, including punitive damages in the estate of Ryan Wayne Harmon case, U.S. District Court case 24-CV-1422, and further move that Bruno, Collin, Goddard, and Lowe PC be retained as co-counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have one more executive session this morning, and I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make that motion to go into executive session. There is no decision expected after this, so after we make this motion and approve this motion, we will be off the air for the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem. I move that the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4024A, purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of any real or personal property in furtherance of Larimer County Open Space Program in coordination with the City of Fort Collins Natural Areas Department.
Thank you for the motion. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. We will go off the air, and we will see you soon. Thank you.